Okay, so welcome in Lecce for this EGI annual conference. It's a great pleasure to have all of you here. EGI101 section. Just to give you some background information about this track, we usually organize this track every conference, and the goal of this section is to provide you some highlights on the solution offered by EGI, so explain what we are, who we are, what we do, etc., etc. So the main target of this track is newcomers, so new user that comes to EGI for the first time, and we would like to have this kind of introduction. During this slide, I put some reference to the dedicated section where you can go if you want to improve or get additional information about topics I present today. So that's more or less the overview, the objective of this section. With this short intro, I think we can start. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Giuseppe La Rocca. I'm a community support team leader at EGI Foundation. And I joined the EGI Foundation more than 1 year ago now. And I'm a software engineer as background, and yeah, I'm based in Italy. I'm one of the colleagues working remotely. So the team is quite spread, just to let you know. There is an office in Amsterdam. There are 15 people, more or less, based in Amsterdam, and the majority of the staff is working remotely. So let's, yeah, this is the agenda, official agenda for this track today. There are two different parts. In the first part, I will, as I said, we'll introduce ourselves, so who we are, what we do, and who do we support. So I will provide some example of community research infrastructure that we engage with. And in the last part of presentation, I will briefly explain how EGI is contributing to the EOSC, this initiative from Commission. You will get a lot of information during this week about EOSC, so you can have opportunity to understand the status of this activity and the next plan. Okay, so let's start the first part. Officially, I like to start this introduction about EGI with this slide, showing the WCG experiment at CERN. I hope that you are familiar with the WCG, but anyway. The goal of this collaboration, which is worldwide, because there are a lot of partners, resources involved in this kind of experiment, is to provide access to a federated and distributed infrastructure, which can be used by the energy physics experiment to collect, store, and archive the almost 200 petabyte of data set of raw data generated every year by the collider. So it's quite a big experiment. So the EGI infrastructure is similar to this WCG architecture. So we are distributed, we are federated, we have a lot of resource center offering the capacity for supporting advanced research. Officially, we started in 2010, and of course, we started officially in 2010 offering support for the energy physics community. But starting from 2010, we also tried to promote the uptakes of this infrastructure to engage with additional communities. So today, we have more than 250 community working with us, so using the solution of the infrastructure provided by EGI. So we are supporting different communities from different domains, from astronomy, astrophysics, life science, health science, but also cultural heritage, climate change, etc., etc. So how EGI is organized? So as I mentioned before, we are a federation of resource center, each resource center offering capacity, computing storage capacity, but at the same time, they are also offering experts. So they have a team of experts that can be provided to help the different community to engage with us to run or develop co-design activities for developing domain-specific platform on EGI, etc., etc. The entire organization is operated by, well, is coordinated, let's say, by this non-for-profit organization, EGI Foundation. This is a non-for-profit organization based in Amsterdam. I'm one of the members of this team, and here in the room there are also other colleagues. And the goal of this team is to work side by side with the federation, the member of the federation, to maintain the architecture, the infrastructure up and running in operational status on behalf of the member state, and at the same time engage with the international community and research infrastructure. So work together with the community of EGI in order to let them to successful support advanced research together with us. When we started in 2010, we started with this vision. So the vision was to allow researchers to have a transparent access to our infrastructure, use our capacity services to support advanced research and conduct world-class research innovation. In order to achieve this vision, the mission of the member of the federation was to develop open source solutions. So the goal here is to develop solutions that can be easily integrated by the community. So integrating their daily workload. So integrate this kind of a solution in their portal, workflow, etc., etc. And the mission of the foundation team, so the team based in Amsterdam, and not only is to make sure that to enable this federation in order to support international research and innovation together. The governance of EGI is composed by 29 different member states. You see here in the map. Most of them are represented by international research organization or institutional representative. Every year, this partner pay a fee, and we distinguish it between full participant, and basically these are the blue one, and also associate participant, which basically pay a lightweight fee. Of course, based on the annual fee they pay, they have a different role, and they are representative in the council of EGI. This is the board of EGI where important decisions are taking place, such as the roadmap, the vision, etc., etc. Recently, MBIS is one of the last partners joined the governance of EGI. This is a National Bioinformatics Institute in Sweden. We have a long-running collaboration of this company, and tomorrow during the webinar, during the plenary, Nangyam Chu from MBIS will be one of the keynote speakers. So you will represent MBIS and report the collaboration, the status of this collaboration with us. EGI also supported the international partnership. So because we are a federated infrastructure in Europe, but there are similar infrastructure in other regions. So this is the reasons why EGI was interested to establish this sort of collaboration in the form of a memorandum of understanding. Today, we have a collaboration in place with the US, with the Open Science Grid, with the Compute Canada, but also with the Africa region and Asia and the Pacific countries as well. So thanks to this collaboration, we are in a better position to support the requests coming from the customers, okay? So this is a typical workflow that we support, adopt to engage with the customer. With the customer, we mean not only international collaboration, but also research infrastructure, for example. So we usually organize a technical meeting with the community representative. The goal of this technical meeting is to collect the requirements here, not only in terms of computing capacity requested, but also trying to identify which solution developed by EGI can also fit and support the community needs. With all these requirements, EGI as a broker engage with the member of the federation. So we try to identify which member of the federation, resource and service provider can support the customer needs. So in case this matchmaking process, because it's a matchmaking, we need to identify who is interested to support who. If this matchmaking process is successful, usually we agree a service level agreement with the customer. Most of the time, this is a non-legal binding contract. This is a gentleman agreement contract, let's say. So here we state which services are usually offered to the customer, together with the different service level target, the duration of this agreement, and also the level of support that EGI can offer. And of course, we agree operational level agreement with all the different resource providers interested to support the customer. To make sure that the provider deliver the services, the capacity to the customer according to this agreement, we monitor the service performance of the provider on a regular basis, and at least every 6 months we generate this service performance report. Okay. These reports are sent back to the customer just to provide this kind of information. And at least 1 time per year, we organize a meeting with the customer, sort of interview. And the goal of this meeting is to collect feedback about this agreement, collect the feedback, also a suggestion for improvement if there is something that is not working as expected, and if you want to improve a little bit this kind of collaboration. So this is the typical workflow adopted by EGI to engage with the community. Up to now, we have more than 32 SLA, service level agreement, with the different communities. If you are a community representative and you want to start a trial on EGI, okay, this is a link of our EGI Access Call. So you can submit your application for hosting or running a scientific application on EGI. What we can offer through this call is access to services from EGI, but also capacity and the related user support, and of course the training, because we organize the training in the form of webinar, so you can receive this kind of information on a regular basis. What is important is the capacity are usually sponsored by the National Funding Agency, because as I said before, we are a federation of resource centers, and each resource center has a different policy, different priorities. So this is why the matchmaking process is important. So we need to identify which one satisfies or is available to support a specific community. And there is an assessment. So when you submit your application, this is evaluated by expert. And if you are eligible to access EGI, you can get free access to the use case or to the capacity and services. And yeah, you can start your trial. This is the link. So there is a web form that you can use to submit your use case. And if you want, you can also have a look to the success story of community we supported, and this information are published in EGI website. Different access policy are supported by EGI to access EGI infrastructure. We have a wide access, so we have some services are customized or are offered with a initial resource allocation. So we have sandboxes that we are offering for free, because one of the goals is to promote our services to the different community. This is why there are possibilities for the user to get access almost for free. Of course, we need to do some vetting before you get access. We need to understand exactly who you are and what you are planning to do. But in principle, there are free capacity offered for free for everybody. We also support the policy-based access. So there are possibilities. So some of the access to our provider depends by the internal policy, because they receive a grant from the National Funding Agency. So we need to take this into consideration. And last but not least, we are also open to the business sector. So we can also offer solutions to target partners that are outside EGI. So in this case, there is a pay-per-use model we can use. So we can offer capacity services, not for free. So in this case, we need to establish this legal binding contract. Okay, this is just some statistic about EGI. These are from the last annual report. So there are more than 95 now thousand of users accessing EGI. You see the total number of capacity allocated. And this is also important, the number of publications. So we are supporting community to deliver or produce new science. And this number is quite important for us, because this means that, okay, the solution that we can offer, the level of support that we can provide is used to produce new type of publication and scientific articles. Now, I would like to provide you information about our service catalog, because I said that we provide capacity, but also services, okay? So this is what you see here on the top is the URL of the EGI service catalog. And as you can see from this slide, we are targeting 3 different main stakeholders. So of course, the most important for us is the research community. So we offer capacity services for supporting their day-by-day work. For the member of the federation, so the member of the that are already in our federation, there are internal tools and services that are basically operating a sort of glue, and they help us to improve the way we work together. So there are different tools that I will present later that can be adopted by the different members of the federation to improve the way they work and operate their services. And of course, we have also some services that we are offering to target the business sector. And also in this case, I will provide some highlights about which services and solution we can offer for the business sector. So now I would like to start zoom in one of each category. Let's start with the first category. So which services we are offering for the target researcher. So this is the infographic to show all the different services available in our portfolio that are offered for supporting end users. So we have, there are different categories, as you can see. We have compute categories, storage and data categories, but also security, identity, training, etc., etc. There is a full documentation available online. So if you want, you can have a look to the documentation and get additional info about each of these service categories. So let's start with the compute. In 2010, when we started, the only compute services we offered was the HTC, so high throughput computing services. This is the services mostly used by energy physics community like WCG, for example. And yeah, as you can see, most of the resource centers, there are more than 200 resource centers in Europe offering capacity to run a computing job, but there are also additional resource centers from other regions. This was possible thanks to the memorandum of understanding with other peer infrastructure that we established. So in terms of technology, we are offering 2 options. So HTC Condor C, so computing element where you can submit your request for running as batch jobs, and also ArcC. So these are the 2 different types of computing site available in our infrastructure. WinMR is an example of a structural biology community using HTC capacity from EGI. So this is an international collaboration. The goal, in a nutshell, the goal of this collaboration is to study the life at molecular level. So they usually try to identify computing model that can be used to predict and also to describe the biomolecular interaction at atomic level. So they have different portals developed, and ad hoc is one of the most used portal. As you can see, there are more than 49,000 of users around the world requesting access to this kind